Let's see August divider. August is about striking a balance. What is the key to achieving lasting success and happiness? Don't we all want to know? Well, one thing we know for sure is looking at all the aspects of your life and nurturing each one. Do you listen to your body, heart, mind, and soul to discover what works best for you? Do you trust your instincts, knowing when to hit pause or to stop completely? Do you catch yourself from falling into a black hole of comparison against others? I ask you to commit time for yourself, your relationships, your passions, and your profession. As you practice juggling these priorities simultaneously, trust that it will fill your life with wholeness and joy. Achieve equilibrium. Write down your daily activities inside these stones. Your goal is to fill both sides without one side overpowering the other, causing you to lose balance. One side should represent slow and nourishing activities, while the other should represent active and energizing activities. That's it! We hope this was helpful, and let's all strike a balance and achieve a life with wholeness and joy.
Sometimes it feels like every time we attempt to take a step forward, we find ourselves 2 steps back. Life may seem like an uphill battle, and the past may have felt limiting. If we consider the present to be a gift, though, then it's not just about the destination, is it? For 2022, Navi will help you embrace your adaptability and resilience. Now, we don't make you imagine what this uphill staircase looks like. We show you. Take an adventure from right where you are. Explore the present as you navigate your life guided by the compass of your own truths, values, and your unique journey to where you're meant to be. For a limited pre-order period, you get to experience the Navi Journal and climb those unconquerable stairs of life in Navi virtual reality, and more. Experience Navi in a whole new way. Experience more. Are you focusing on what really matters? Do you feel like you live in a world where distractions and interruptions seem to never end? We know you need to be free. Free your mind of clutter and still your heart. Embrace this chaos and master quieting your mind with the Focus 2022 Journal. On its 7th year, it's all about accepting all of the phases we go through in life. For a limited pre-order period, the Focus 2022 Journal comes in experience kits with great tools to inspire you to shove the distraction aside and put your goals to the forefront. Picture yourself courageously blurring out what no longer serves you. Take with you only what amplifies each step toward your goal. You will get what you focus on. Start building the tomorrow you want with laser-like clarity. Experience more.
Hello, good afternoon, Bellas and crazies about paper, guys! Kamusta kayong lahat? My name is Jasmine. Welcome to our 3rd episode of our Experience More Connection series. Saan kayo nanonood ngayon? Where are you spending your ECQ afternoon on this beautiful Thursday? Patingin? I love Janica's energy. Let's go, sabi niya. Hi, Jane. Can I see? Nasaan sila ngayong hapon? Ano pa ba? Ayan. Sige, thank you so much for joining us. So like I said, this is our 3rd episode. We've lined up for four FB Lives this week to help you look after your well-being by connecting with yourself, connecting with nature and with other people. So we hope these benefit you and you stay connected with us, ayan, during this ECQ and beyond. Ayan, so, di ba last Tuesday, we started off with Connect with Your Body with Kimberly Chua. She shared a lot of movement tips that we can do kahit na we're just at home. And then yesterday naman, we talked about how you can connect with your mind and heart with Coach Ning. Ayan, sayang I missed Ning yesterday, where she shared the lockdown formula on how you can connect with yourself. Ayan, sino yun? Very, very easy, di ba? May pumapasok na mga bata. So, that's Body and Mind. If you weren't able to watch it, you can watch it on replay on our social media pages. Ngayong hapon naman, we're going to talk about how to connect with nature. Ayan. So, syempre yung mga plantito at plantita dyan, okay? Be ready. Okay? How do you connect with nature? Through planting at home and knowing its benefits. So, I'm very, very excited to introduce our sobrang poging guest speaker this afternoon. Ayan. Okay, our guest for this afternoon, nauutal ako. Our guest for this afternoon is a landscape architect. He's an entrepreneur and contractor. He's been in the business for 16 years already. He's a top-notcher who has an MBA. He loves food and travel. O, di ba? Parang profile talaga yung sinasabi ko. He's also done life coaching sessions and he has dogs in the office. So, he's a landscape architect for Lark and he's the owner of Balcony and Garden. So, Bellas, ready na ba kayong makilala? Palakpakan po natin. Let us welcome Mr. Vincent Lim! Hi, Vince! Gusto mo ba yung intro ko sa'yo?
Hello. Pinawisan ako.
Pinawisan ako!
Yeah, hi.
Hindi kita makita or ako lang ba yun? Baka mag-expect. So, ayan na sabi ni Lady Len, hi. Sabi ni Faith, hi. O, kaway ka naman sa viewers natin.
Hello. Thanks for having me here. So you call your viewers Bellas and crazy about paper guys. So hi, hello. So thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Okay. Sige, so kamusta ka, Vince? How are you this afternoon? How have you been this 2021?
Today is just trying to keep it calm today. Syempre ECQ. There's a lot of uncertainty. So feeling ko here, I'm here in the office actually, so I have to be with my team just to kind of give that certain assurance that things are going to be okay. To kind of hold that role for today. And in general, syempre 2021, challenging, feels like a marathon on many levels. A lot of people may probably relate to that, but I just find myself in a grateful space because we're busy. We're able to provide for our families and our team, and that's super more than enough right now. So I'm liking how I'm learning so much about myself and other things that we normally tend to not look at if it's probably pre-pandemic times. But just learning a lot about myself probably. So,
Ayan, thank you. Thank you for sharing, Vince. I think that resonates with a lot of our viewers. Our topic today is connecting with nature. Can you share with us why you think it's important for us to connect with nature?
I did some research now, and I read about there's a publication by the University of Minnesota wherein they said that we humans are biologically prepared to have this certain disposition to have a favorable response to nature because we evolved in nature. So in a sense, when you look at that, it nasa genes talaga natin. It's really part of our makeup, DNA makeup maybe. So it's important if that's scientific studies, but we know also it's not rocket science that connecting with nature is very good for our health. not just physically. In many cases recently, it's about mental, emotional, psychological health, right? So it does so much positive. It has so much positive contributions to people when they connect with nature.
Oo nga, I was telling you nga earlier, di ba, I homeschool kasi so botany yung topic
Yeah.
namin for science. It's also very scientific, symbiotic, di ba, yung oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange. Ayan, so we're also soliciting some
Yeah.
questions in the comments. So Vince, you mentioned a while ago about mental health. How exactly does connecting with nature improve one's mental health, or how does plant care help with self-care?
Mental health. Oh well, syempre, it's a bit of a touchy topic, no. But we also there's just so many published studies how it really affects mood. Like what I shared with you some time ago. Na even if you just have one plant in your space, it transcends already the experience of having the greens if you were in like outside. No, so there were also stories where we read that people who undergo through surgery or post-traumatic depression or other instances like that, and when they get to experience nature, when they get to see greens, whether their room has access to some greenery or scenery, they tend to respond positively faster. Their improvement seems to be faster. So when you look at that, and there's really just this huge and positive correlation to improving your well-being when you're connected with greens, when you're surrounded by nature. So yeah, that's how it really helps. Yeah.
I guess it has the same effect as with having a pet, no? Yung parang you're taking care of something, or the act of nurturing something, I think,
Yes.
no?
Yeah. So, and in our business also, that's one thing we discovered. So we get a lot of stories also from our clients. So, and sometimes they compare it to taking care of plants. And the thing is, sometimes, the way plants also respond to how we care say a lot about us as well. And it could also be a journey of self-discovery when you take care of plants. You learn about, di ba? Kasi,
Oo.
different plants respond to different ways of taking care of them. So, kung hindi mo didiligan, malalanta. Just how living things are in general. So, you learn about that in the process of taking care of plants.
Yeah, also ako, I learned something about myself. Hindi rin sila nagre-respond pag kinakantahan ko yung mga halaman eh. So parang ibang tao dapat yung kumakausap or kumakanta sa halaman ko.
Hindi sila ibang usapan na yun, baka ibang kanta mo. But yun nga, parang we know also that connecting with nature reduces anxiety, stress. Ako, for example, this is myself an example. When I'm a bit stressed, I go to the garden, I prune, or I dig, or I transfer a pot from a plant to a larger pot, from a smaller pot to a larger pot. So things like that. It's hindi ko siya ginagawa mindfully because alam ko matatanggal ako matatanggal yung stress ko. But parang automatic lang siya. Okay, parang you do it, and then after a while, okay na ako, I feel better. So, and case in point also why you'll see a lot of people who do meditation. They prefer meditating in a space full of greens. And also, you could relate it somehow to color therapy, which is also a function. Yeah, more than that. It's how different colors affect different moods, right? So green is, in a sense, affects tranquility. So
that's right.
That's why it makes sense now if you want to do meditation, you medyo hardcore legit people who want to meditate, they want to be surrounded by greens. And not only that, so not just the things that you see, but everything else that you hear around you when you're situated in a garden, for example. The multisensory experience, like for example, hearing the sound of the wind rustle through the leaves, pag may water, that's another thing. Something else. So how the light makes filters through the plants. So things like that. So you get to notice these things just because you're in a tranquil state, diba? So and having a green color green surrounding you really gives you a more calm mood as well.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah.
completely agree with you, and I get what you're saying. But you know, ako kasi I'm lucky. There's this patch of background for us. But going out has been a challenge right now. Again, ngayong
Mhm.
PCQ. Are there other ways that people can connect to nature while they're in their home, or lalo na if they have limited space?
Well, of course, I would suggest you care for a plant, and more often than not, there's you will probably have a friend who is into plants, no? So either hingi ka ng plants do sa friend mo, or you buy a starter pack na gardening kit. So I guess even if I like what I mentioned earlier, even if it's just one plant,
Just one.
can kahit one can do so much already, because there's that relationship already, that there's that interaction that happens. So yeah, so I would suggest kahit isa lang, kahit isang indoor
Mm-mm.
plant lang, and yeah,
Sige.
can do so much. Yeah.
Ano yung ano, ako personal question ko, what if I just had a space for just one plant inside? So for example, I just have a window for sunlight, very minimal light coming in. Let's say I'm in a condo. And then, ayun nga, parang just a window. What kind of plant can I start off with?
Well, you can start with some Boston. I mean, I'm sure alam niya itong mga snake plant, welcome plant,
Yun yung
golden
madali eh.
pothos, yeah, Boston fern, yeah, yun yung mga beginners level. Yeah, level 1 to 15 yan na pagiging plantito mo. So starter level ka dyan. So I guess it's important, especially if you didn't used to be into gardening or into plant care before. It's very important that you start baby steps. Parang hindi ka pwede agad mag-hoard. I wouldn't advise that. Even if you have a lot of friends giving you so many plants right away, it's probably not advisable, because you don't really know how to care for all of them. So I would suggest that use. Oh yeah, where's Jess? Hello.
Hello, I'm coming in. Kasi parang nawala si Jazz. Hello. Ayan,
Yeah.
Ayan,
So,
Sorry, yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, should I continue?
yes, go.
Yeah. Yeah, yun nga. As I was saying, if you're like a newbie into being a plantito or plant care, just baby steps. Start with one, and then you have to be in the groove before you start getting more plants. Kailangan masanay ka, kasi nga, lalo na kung balak mo pa iba-ibang type ng plants. Iba-iba rin yung care requirement for that. So, yun, you kind of need to be in the zone first before you get more. So, yeah, that's my tip. And then, start with beginner plants. And maybe one of my favorites is Monstera. Actually, that's my favorite.
At saka
Yeah,
maganda yun eh. I also like Monsteras. Vince, I'm curious, how did you start out being into plants? Also, of course, we know you're a landscape artist. How did that all start out?
Well, I took up landscape architecture in UP, so that's really my profession, and I took my licensure year after graduation, more than a decade and a half ago. So
Saan na kaya?
it's more of I just wanted doing. It's more of I wanted to do. I was more into space design rather than into plants. But so because I like doing parks, I like doing resorts. That's really my forte. So, but eventually, just because it's just part of the whole process, we have to deal with plants. So, and then with all our construction projects, ang dami ko nang mali sa plants na feeling ko sa design maganda siya, but actually pala pag nakatanim na hindi pala siya bagay. So things like that, and because I've been doing it for so many years now, parang I have come to love it. So yeah, and then even before the pandemic happened, before all this craze about plants happened, I've always been into indoor plants. Again, just because that's a part of the business that we do. So day in, day out, I deal with plants. So yeah.
That's nice.
Yun.
What's your favorite? Ano yung favorite plant mo and why?
One is for sure, Monstera. Yeah. Monstera kasi nga, sabi ko, you can say na beginner level yun. Medyo nakakaya pag namatayan ka ng Monstera. So, pag namatayan ka ng snake plant o Monstera, medyo nakakaya. Joke lang. But it's Monstera kasi, it's so easy to care for. But at the same time, it looks a bit sophisticated. So, you kind of have this proud moment when you see it sprouting new leaves. Tapos, syempre, alam pa natin how much it costs now. So, yung alaga mo ngayon, mas iba ngayon sa kanya. Dati, dilig lang. Ngayon, may fertilizer na, may insecticide. Ako, pinupunasan ko pa talaga minsan isa-isa yung mga dahon niya pag nakikita ko yung insect.
Diba?
Yung ganon. Yes. So, yun. So, yun yung, I guess, one of... Then another thing there's another plant that some of you may know, the purple shamrock. It's oxalis. It's a very showy plant that has purple flowers. You can Google it. Kasi pwede ako magpakuha nun. Tawag ito?
Google ko.
Ano siya eh? Sabi ko nga, parang ang lakas makahugot ng plant kasi parang maarte kasi yung plant. So, hindi siya pwedeng overdilig. Hindi siya pwedeng parati mo tinitignan. Gusto lang niya hinahayaan lang. Parang tao lang. Parang hayaan mo lang siya. Tapos pag hinayaan mo lang siya, papapansin siya sa sayo kasi papaganda siya. Ganyan. So, yun. I'll show you later how it looks.
Yeah.
But I like it because na-challenge ako. But I've been doing it for more than a year. Medyo hindi ko pa rin siya ma-perfect. Yeah.
Ako yata namatayan na ako ng isang monstera at saka ng yucca tree. Ang mahal-mahal ng yucca ko namatay. Si Jane daw, namatayan daw siya ng succulents.
There could be several reasons, no, why your succulents would pass on. One is maybe over-dilig. Maybe the soil also doesn't drain well, even water gets stuck. And then although ako, on a personal note, hindi ako masyado magaling mag-alaga ng a succulent. So yeah, teaches me to be honest also with ano yun yung sana ko pwede, sana ko hindi pwede. So succulents, hindi ko talaga kaya yan. So kahit alam kong...
Like anything in life, di ba? I mean, you have to have that acceptance that I can do this or I can, this is for me, this is not for me, di ba?
Yeah. So, yun nga, I was sharing with you offline earlier na it's really a lot about self-discovery, and you learn a lot about yourself as you care for plants. Diba? You can be patient because you cannot just expect them to bloom or grow fast. You have to wait. And as you wait, you need to make sure that you nurture them. You need to give them the right environment. So things like that. So it teaches you a lot. And anyway, I meant to share, and I forgot to say this kanina, something about mental health. This is an actual story that we encountered in our work. There was a client who has a mom who's, I think, probably 90s, in the 90-year-old. I'm not sure what her mental condition is, but in Tagalog, medyo nag-Google yan and nakakalimot ganyan. So, yeah. So, the client asked us to renovate the garden because she doesn't go out. She used to love going out in the garden. And so, because it hasn't been attended to for many years. So, yung garden, since she doesn't go out. And the doctors are really recommending her to go outside. Fresh air, sunlight, morning sunlight, so things like that. So, nirenovate namin yung garden. So, long story short, We just cleaned it up, nire-arrange lang namin. We didn't even put a lot of new plants. We just trimmed the balete just to get more light in. And then the client, after a week, he happily shared with us that his mom started going out.
Wow.
So the mom, we featured that during Mother's Day kasi that happened lang maybe in April. So parang it's just a different learning experience for us because okay, fine, we know scientifically it really helps promote a good mood, anxiety, relieves you from anxiety and stress, but it's a totally different thing if you really have an actual case wherein a person is so thankful to us, really happy to help. Now we're able to we just cleaned up the space, nothing too fancy, and then the mom started going out and every morning daw so nakaupo lang doon. We just created a nice chair for her. Now surrounded by plants and a bit of color. So and then the mom started going out and relatively daw mas masayahin siya. So it's hard to explain, but you can really tell from there that having that connection with nature really is really good for your mental health, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also agree with you. Parang hindi siya trend no? Parang some other people feel that being a plantito or a plantita is just a trendy thing that happened because of the pandemic. But actually, it really is a way to connect. To connect with yourself, to connect with the earth, and there's so many benefits that I really think, yun nga, tama ka, just one plant. Aside from yun nga, your own, getting to know yourself, what other things do people who are watching this and would like to consider getting a plant need? Kumbaga, if somebody wants to start taking care of plants, what else do they need to consider? Maliban sa sunlight, water?
Well, I would suggest also that well, the process I would recommend to friends is you start first with what's your dream garden, and then what is it that you want to feel when you think of your dream garden. It may sound cheesy, but kaya ka nga gusto mong magkaroon ng garden kasi you want to feel a certain kind of you want to have a certain kind of experience. Like for example, some clients build gardens for themselves for meditation purposes, for quiet activities. Some clients naman want to build their gardens because they want their kids to run around, so things like that. But if you have limited space, you try to think first, what is it that you want to feel? What is it in your dream garden? And maybe from there, maybe the systematic approach is from there, you try to, okay, so because this is my dream garden and my space only allows for this much, then you take it from there, okay? Because you'll have limitations on sunlight, air quality or ventilation. If ever you're too busy to water the plant, that also has to be considered. So the physical space has to be very considered, really. Where you want it, why you want it is it's just good to know. And then how much care are you willing to put out? But of course, you don't know until you don't know. What would be just once, twice a week watering, eventually you get the hang of it. And before you know it, you really know what to do. So, just start with your dream garden, what you have in mind, and then start looking up what plants really interest you. Not necessarily because your friend recommended this. I'm sure there are plants that would resonate with you. So there are people who shop online, and more often than not naman, they know now what they're looking for. But if you have the chance to visit a local nursery, of course, when things are a bit better, when everything's a bit more safe, I suggest you go to a plant shop, wherever it is. There's so many plant shops here in Metro Manila or anywhere else. You have to see a plant because it will talk to you. I'm so sure of that. It will talk to you. So yeah, so it's different. You have to see it. Parang damit. I mean, I mean, diba? Parang it's one thing to see it nice on somebody else. It's another thing if you are able to touch it and it feels okay. This speaks to me, and yeah, I should go ahead with the purchase. Yeah.
Nakakatuwa yung advice mo, Vince, kasi parang I didn't expect na, yun nga, yung parang about the feeling. It's more of, sometimes I think of plants in the house, it's just aesthetic parang ganon. But you're right, you have to consider how you want to feel with that plant. Saka parang boyfriend din yung sinabi mo kailangan namin piliin You have to see it, you have to be committed to it. Parang ganon. Sabi ni Belle, her mom loves taking care of plants too. Nakaka-help din, especially during the first lockdown. Kaya nga nauso ang mga plantito at plantita, di ba, Belle? And then, M says, tignan mo, sabi ko sa'yo, parang boyfriend to see growth in plants is nakakakilig.
Yes. Di ba? Parang sense of achievement yan Pag may bagong dahon na spot, pinopost mo sa Instagram yan, di ba? So, ano yan? Bragging rights yan. So,
diba?
yeah, it's a different kind of experience talaga. And sa mga people naman especially seniors, I even would ask my mom to tend to our garden, or even just by watering, because it's good physical experience. It gives you a bit of physical or exercise for your parents, especially kung medyo senior na sila. If they get to tend to the garden, it's not a lot of work, but moving through that space, it contributes a lot. So physically, especially sa mga senior citizen family.
I was saying my mom has always been a plantita, and then na-realize ko it doesn't have to be an expensive hobby or an expensive thing to do, because you know what, every time na nakakaubos siya ng detergent, yung lalagyan ng detergent, or kunwari may nasira siyang pot, yun yung tinatamniman niya. So, it's just something that I think other people would like to consider. Kasi yun nga, like what you said, di ba? Yung iba shops for plants first. And it's quite expensive. It doesn't have to be. I really think it doesn't have to be. I think we had extra questions, Belle, no? Sorry na wala ako nung
ito yung pala. Ito yung purple shamrock. Ipakuha ko. Ito. Di ba? Maganda to pag hitik na hitik to. Kaya lang, minsan kabusit. Kabusit ako dito. Yeah. So sometimes you call it like that.
Yeah, that is nice. You know, that plant pa, Vince, when I got it, it was in a small pot. Tapos parang, yun nga, parang akala ko patay na. And then we transferred the soil for something else. I think it was for this one. And then, biglang tumubo. So now, hitik na rin yan. Shamrock pala ang tawag.
Yes, purple shamrock.
Ganda nga yan.
Ganda yan.
Ganda. Sabi ni Lady Len, Oxalis triangularis. Ano yun?
Yes, that's the scientific name that's the botanical name of the plant. So,
Lady Len,
purple siya.
Plantita dito. Dapat i-guess din natin si Lady Len. Hi, Sed! So, ang dami na nag-hi sa'yo, Vince. David Raymart says, hi. Guys, questions. Questions ang sabi ko. Ba't niyo binabati si Vince?
I have a question here. How does he get inspiration on landscapes?
Yeah, ayan, Vince, how do you get
well, okay, I'll share how the process when we do a certain project, no? Syempre, different projects, different themes and different looks and kasi different clients, right? So, but essentially, it's very important for me to get to know the client. Because the gardens that they want us to do is more often than a reflection of their personalities. Some are maximalist, some are minimalist. Some wanted low maintenance. Some wanted showy. So So I get inspiration from studying or profiling my clients. So, and kaya nga, sometimes I ask them, what's your wish list? But you kind of have to observe also their lifestyle. So yeah, I get inspiration from there. So kunyari, they have, if a certain client loves red. So syempre, sa plants namin, meron din something red flowers, or yung leaves niya, red din. So yun, well, inspiration is everywhere if you think about it. But in our case, I just draw the inspiration from studying my clients and really getting to know my clients. So yeah.
Okay. May symbolism ba yan,
Yeah.
Vince, yung mga plants? Is there like a symbolism that plants would have?
Well, yeah. There are symbolisms of plants. If you're di ba, yung mga naniniwala sa feng shui, may sinasabi na some spiky plants are symbolized parang medyo bad luck. Ganyan, or pag thorny plants, ganyan. And if it's rounded shape naman leaves, it's good fortune or good luck. So if you have something again that has something red in it, it's good to be placed in front of the house because it's a welcoming feature. So medyo madami yan. But I guess to each his own.
Like when you buy you take those in consideration?
Only if the client believes to. Or madalas din nangyayari sa akin, minsan yung mga client, may kaibigan na chumuchuchu na, yung ganyang planta na yan, bawal yan, ganyan. So parang kami, okay, sige na, okay. So you respect the client kasi wala kang magagawa kasi mas kasama niya parating yung friend niya, di naman pwede pa natin yung gaganyanin yung friend niya na, alam mo, malas yung planta yan. So parang kahit kami, neutral kami, the clients believe in it. So it's also about respecting what the client believes in. So that's really important in the process. No matter how, there has to be a balance between our technical recommendations and what the client and what works for the space and what the client believes in. So it has to be a balance of those things. So yeah.
Paano kunwari, Vince, di ba, you have a client and then you would consider what the client would want, yung personality ng client. What technical recommendations would you usually add in or need to consider?
Well, depende kung outdoor, indoor, outdoor. Let's say outdoor yan, yun nga, inaaral din namin yan, yung bato ng araw dyan. So, consideration din yan. Budget, of course, kasama yan. Ayaw din naman namin na ma-stress si client dun sa, parang ang ganda nga na pinakita namin, but if it's something way more than their budget, then it's not going to be a successful project. So, in our case, what we do is, okay, so, again, going back, if this is your dream garden, and then we're able to successfully represent that through our drawings, right? So that's step 2. But if the client cannot afford it, it's wasted effort. So we help the client go through a process of parang we teach them, okay, maybe we can face this, or maybe parang you do a bit of compromise. So instead of buying plants that are already like 5 feet tall, you buy muna something at 2 feet tall, which is less than half the price. So things like that. We go through that exercise with them because at the end of the day, ano ba mas importante, di ba? Na if yung something na yung client mararamdaman niya na parang ay tinipid versus yung at the very least alam niya, okay, this is my dream garden on the works. So I guess budget is something to consider as well, and then like the level of care you're willing to put in. Ikaw lang ba mag-alaga o yung yaya mo, or things like that. So you need to consider that as well. So yeah.
Ano to, na-realize ko, Vince, we've been asking you questions about homes, indoor plants, but the scope of a landscape architect is really a garden, diba? Or do you also like cater to indoor spaces na walang patch of soil?
We work a lot with interior architects or interior designers. Actually, interior designers, we work a lot with them in especially the sizes, indoor space is quite sizable. So we work a lot with them in recommending not just greens, but how people will move around atriums. In fact, maybe a project case would be atriums of certain malls or shopping areas. So we do that. So it's not just putting greens, but it's also putting maybe put a chair there, maybe allocate a space for a kiosk so that people can tambay there beside the indoor tree, because you want to mimic kasi the alfresco experience, or if it's really outdoors. So that's how we help work with interior designers or architects for interior gardens.
So, kumbaga, you connect
But yeah, mostly what we do.
nature itself, no? It's also how you use the space. In order for you to be able to connect with nature, get all these benefits, you also have to take your space, how you use it, what you put in it in consideration, no?
Yes. You hit everything right. Yeah. Because a lot of our new projects now, or incoming projects, and the things you'll probably see towards the end of the year or next year, that like the way redesign office spaces now, or commercial buildings or malls, it's a lot about giving that easy access to connecting with nature. Hindi lang before, di ba, sometimes, okay, go to the mall and then outside, but may plants ka na, or may nature-inspired design ka na there. But now, hindi. I mean, it has to be through and through now. Just because, I guess this pandemic really kind of pulled us back to the fundamental relationship which we should be having with nature, which is that easy accessibility to nature. So that's why, in what we do, surprisingly, we're encountering more. You need to have more access to greens, visually, and that tactile experience, yung nahahawakan nila. That's very important. So, so that's how, the incoming or upcoming developments in the metro will certainly have that. Just because it's now a fundamental part of how we design spaces, connecting with nature.
I sobrang resonate with you yung gusto mo yung nahahawakan mo. Kaya lang, Vince, meron ako personally, in my experience, feeling ko pag hinawakan ko, or kunwari, even our helper here at home, sabi niya, when she has her period, she doesn't touch the plants kasi parang, it just doesn't, parang namamatay. What's your advice to those na they believe or they think they don't have a green thumb or never sila nakakabuhay ng halaman? Si Belle nagtanong.
Well, baka naman kasi nga gusto nila, dapat preschool ka muna o kaya nursery ka muna and kinder. Hindi ka agad tatarin sa college level na planting, no? I mean, I think it's really just a matter of finding what works. So really experimenting. And my advice is you don't give up because there's really a lot of benefits in getting in touch with your greens. Yeah, I guess it's really just, you need to find what works for you.
Okay,
experiment, yeah.
No one is not a green thumb. Parang you just really need to find the one plant for you. Parang ganon. The one.
Yes. Tsaka baka naman kasi I also believe that plants sense our energies. So I'm not so much into that energy thing, but there's a certain I kind of believe in that the plants kind of absorb energy. So baka naman hindi lang siya, siguro baka kasi may period siya, may period siya. So tapos baka may ulo niya. So nararamdaman ng halaman yun. So mamamatay yung halaman. Kasi, di ba? Busit ka, mararamdaman talaga ng halaman yung living thing yan, di ba? So, so I kind of believe that maybe there's something there. So it's not about mainit ang kamay. It's not about not having a green thumb or you have a black thumb, but maybe it's about the energy that you bring, because the plants feel the energy around them.
My gosh, oo nga. You know, I was telling my kids, sabi kasi my daughter thinks it's not a living thing, a plant. So sabi ko, it's a living thing, anak. So it does. Thank you for that reminder, Vince. Ang daming bumabalik sa'yo. Maria says hi. Marvin says hi. David Raymart says, I love balcony and gardens.
Thank you.
Plants absorb energy. Vince, I have two more questions. So, M is asking what your dream garden project is.
I hirap naman. Um, well, we it's not really a garden, but I really want to do a public park because our joy is not. I mean, as designers, my greatest joy is not really seeing a beautiful picture, but
Mm-hmm.
really hearing the stories that people create in that garden that we create for them. Like, family, like the mothers who would come back to us. My son started. He likes playing on the grass. He likes touching the grass. The baby, for some reason, likes touching the grass. So those are that's the stuff that keeps us going. So I want to do a park where
Art.
so many people from different classes, socioeconomic classes, can experience, because I really feel everyone should have access to parks and gardens, and wherever it is, whether it's Metro Manila or outside Metro Manila. I just want to do something that's for many people, not just for one. I mean, like and I'm probably gonna do private gardens for the rest of my life, but if I be able to do a garden for the people in the form of a park, I'd really, really be grateful. So
Ang
that's a
ganda
dream.
naman
Yeah.
yun. We will look forward to that and claim it for you, Vince. Ang ganda. Thank you, thank you. So
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
a public park for everybody. Vince, do you have a recommendation on the kind of plant that would attract abundance? I mean, kanina we asked you if plants have symbolisms, ganyan, or mala. So, what plants would attract abundance and what plants naman to avoid? Nag-merge ako ng tanong, sorry. Kasi, konti na lang
Hindi.
yung time.
Plans to avoid. Plans to parang kung si Master ata dapat talaga yung siya. Pero, pero
Natin next.
yun nga, parang sabi nila, the plants that symbolize, have a coin shape, tend to be lucky. So there's such a thing as they call this, they have something that they call also money plant, which is golden pothos. Not a really circle shape, but there's the jade plant also that has a bit of rounded figure. So I guess that's good to have, but it's for, and this medyo we believe that we don't really put spiky plants because inside, especially if a person believes in feng shui, because the chi daw goes out instead of parang staying. So that's bad luck daw. Kasi parang it's, or minsan if it's a thorny plant, nakakatusok daw siya. So it's in a way represents parang you punishing yourself. So, but at the end of the day, I feel that no matter what kind of plant you choose for yourself, as long as it makes you happy, you get a certain joy. Sorry for the word, parang kebs na for what other people would see. It's important that how you see.
It resonates with the Bella so much. It gives you
Yeah, it has to be like aside from resonating, it has to make you happy. Because why the hell? Sorry, why would you put buy a plant or care for a plant or put it beside your bed, if it's something that doesn't make you happy, right? So we are to each his own, I guess. And no matter what representations or significance you put to a certain plant, that's up to you. At the end of the day, if you feel it works, if the plant gives you good vibes and good energy, then you have something right for you. Yeah. Kasi kung maganda nga, tapos harang-harang siya sa dinadaanan mo na nabubusit ka lang parate, di ba? It's not good. So I mean, like, piloso po yung dating na yun, but it's as basic as that. So, which probably leads me also to giving the advice na it's important also where you want to put your plant. Of course, it has to be in a place that receives good sunlight, but at the same time, it has to be in a way. I would recommend, if you're going to have only one plant, parang put it in the place where you will see, where you sit most, where you use the space most. So, kunyari ako, I put it in my sala because yung sala ko sa condo, yun yung tumbok ng pagpasok ko. So, pagpasok ko, kita ko agad siya. And kung tatambay ako sa sala, yun ang nakikita ko. So, yun. So, kumbaga, ROI ka dapat. Di ba? Kailangan makaka-ROI ka. So, sa level of appreciation or yung frequency ng pagkaka-appreciate mo sa plant, dapat ROI ka. So, yun.
Thank you. Oo nga naman. Thank you, Vince. I have one last question. Lots of comments, lots of greetings for you. Dar wanted to share, I saw an experiment on plants. One plant was being bullied and another plant praised. And in 2 weeks, super mukhang kawawa na daw yung bullied plant visually. O diba, they really do have feelings. Yes, Micah says we need more parks in the Philippines. Cha says, my mom would talk to plants like they're her kids para mabuhay sila. I don't know, pero namamatay talaga eventually. Nako!
Condolence, sorry.
Ayan, M is asking, what's a good plant to gift? Siguro, I guess this question, I will add to it, Vince. So, kung hindi mo kilala yung, I mean, you have absolutely no idea what the kind of space this person has. Anong magandang iregalo? Like, a goodwill or easy, I don't know, madaling iregalo or a good plant to gift?
Welcome plant is medyo easy yan. Just because, again, it's easy to care for. It's very basic. It's also easy to access. There's a lot of people who sell that. If you can find the Black Raven ZZ plant, call it the ZZ plant. So that's also good. Sorry?
Nagno-notes ba yung mga viewers namin? Sabi ko, Black Raven, welcome.
Yeah, kasi, well, yun, kung hindi mo alam yung personality ng pagbibigyan mo, yan yung mga, yan. So yung medyo hindi ka na mapapaya, hindi ka na mukhang chibig masyado kapag ano. Yung medyo may class, pinag-isipan talaga. So, ganyan. So, yun. But syempre mas maganda kung alam mo yung hilig or hindi hilig ng pagbibigyan mo. So, I wouldn't recommend easily yung mga calatheas just because they're sensitive. Yeah, so, but yeah, a lot of the philodendrons are also okay. If you think yung pagbibigyan mo has space, you can go for big philodendrons or mga anthuriums. Yan, if you have the space, that's good. And there's relatively cheaper pa. Hindi medyo exaggerated yung price. So yeah.
Galing.
Yeah, I hope that helps.
Are there any more questions from the audience? Let me see. Sige, M, thank you for taking notes. The Luna says, hi, balcony and gardens. Yun talaga yung tawag nila sa iyo, Vince.
Sino?
La Luna. Ayan, si La Luna. Says,
hello.
Gardens. Okay, so you know what? I wish we had more time, Vince. Ako parang tungkol sa mga herb plants, yung mga ganyan, if they have the same effect ba as the plants that you were mentioning a while ago. But
yeah, siguro if I'm gonna leave something to your Bellas there, it's I guess be mindful also. I mean, it's good practice. Taking care of plants is a good practice for mindfulness. Like what we mentioned earlier, it teaches so many things about ourselves. Our capacity to care, how it affects our self-esteem, pag maganda yung pag-respond ng pag-alaga natin. If we need to slow down, sometimes plant teaches that, no? So I guess it's good if you have plants or your relationship with plants teaches you so much more about discovering yourself and what you're capable of, and maybe make you probably more aware of your other the values that you have probably. So there.
Thank you so much, Vince. So there you go, guys. For this episode of our Connection series, you experience more by connecting with nature. And as Vince has said, really, it's regardless. If you think you're a plantito, a plantita, if you're a beginner, taking care of plants, being surrounded by it will really help you stay grounded, will really help you get to know yourself, and also you'll be able to exercise your nurturing, your sense of nurturing and the values that you also have. So ayan, maraming maraming salamat. Let's also follow Balcony and Gardens on Instagram. Right, Vince? Anything that you'd like to say to share pa with our Bellas or remind them of?
Well, just to stay safe, stay healthy, and please watch out for our upcoming store. We have an upcoming store soon. Batman Gardens will have its first official store in one of the biggest mall in the Philippines. So please watch out for that. And thank you so much for the support. Thank you, Jasmine. Really, really enjoyed talking to you and to all your Bellas. More power to all of you. Please, journaling is good, really. I journal, by the way. And yeah, it's also good practice about mindfulness. So yeah.
Thank you, Vince. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting our journaling advocacy. So yes, it will help your journaling also if you surround yourself with plants and connect with nature.
Mhm.
Before we go, I just wanted to remind everybody that we extended our pre-order period until August 16th. So don't miss out that chance to get a 2022 planner. Like Vince, you need to journal. Visit ilovebdj.com or crazyaboutpaper.com and get your 2022 planner of choice now. We have special promos ongoing. All bundles are now open for pre-order. The first 100 buyers on BDJ will get a free BTRC face mask, and the first 100 buyers on Crazy About Paper will get 15% discount code from Gouache, the bags. Okay? Our special promo is that it's for our today's FB Live only. So for those of you who are watching, be one of those 100 on either sides. Please do catch us again tomorrow for our last hashtag Experience More Connection series. Tomorrow, this time with Kate, Val, and Doris of Chicas and Margaritas as we talk about connecting with others. So again, thank you so much, Vince. Thank you so much, Bella. See you tomorrow.